Well, good afternoon, my YouTube friends. It's Margaret here from M.E.s Orchids, and I just thought I'd bring you into the grow room. I've had a restful few days. Not. I've been quite busy actually. Keith and I have been busy this morning. We've been cutting the hedges that surround our property, and now we've come in and the wind's blowing up. We're getting some bad weather tomorrow. So this is little Axel here. This is an African violet. This was the probably the only second one that managed to survive after I had that outbreak. I think it might have been mealybugs or something. It just absolutely devastated my collection, and it's taken this little plant 2 years to recover. So let's just have a look in this corner here, and you'll see this one here. If I lift it off, I'm still trying to decide where everything's going, and let's have a look at this one. And oh, this is the Cattleya Cincoriana by Alawii, and that's got that growth there. I think the other one's over here on a mount, and so that sits in that corner there. And then you've got the two little species, Phalaenopsis. You've got the other one that's just there. I've turned the light off, and that's over there in the Neophoenicias, and that's Shootano. Now they got watered yesterday, watered and fed, and the blooms are just going over now. There's a very, very slight fragrance, but there's not much left. But very nice. So they got a good soaking and feeding yesterday. And if I remember rightly, this one now has got a new leaf in the middle, and it looks as though it's got a new fan developing. I think it's a fan and not another flower inflorescence, just there at the axil. But there we go. And I can now pull that little dish out, because what I do when I water, so it doesn't drip down, because it's in this corner where the light is, and I just put it back there now, and it's fine. This is the other one, excuse me, stretching in and out, and this is Baby Angel by Lucinary. And again, it's just got a leaf that's dying back there, but I think this has got a new growth there. It's got a nice growing tip, and it's got a new root trying to come out there. So I'm hoping, maybe not this year, but at some point that might flower for me. So we'll put that back under here, and that just sits down there on the shelf. I'm just still finding myself the way I want the room to look. This one here, which is my Coleogene Burfordiense, is a monster, isn't it? And I'm not sure whether I'm actually going to keep it in this spot. Hopefully I will, but I'm just manoeuvring myself round and finding the best place that the plants like, and that also it's easy enough for me to manoeuvre between the shelves. This is the Brachyolalia BLC Pink Diamond. Nice big growing tip there, and a nice big growing tip there. That would normally go a little bit further forward, like that, but I've got to bring the Vanda Peaches back, and they just sit on this bottom shelf here where the windowsill is. So let's have a look what's happening with this one. I've not decided yet whether this one's staying just where I've got it at the moment. And this is Dendrobium Jo Candy. What? Look down there, can you see? Is it showing you? There's new roots developing. So that's settled now on that mount. And this is the new acquisition here. This is the Cattleya Walkeriana var Cerulean. And this was also fed and watered yesterday. And so this is just in that transitional period of, it's got a nice growing tip there. But it's they don't like to be disturbed, but I needed it on a slightly bigger mount, so it had to be disturbed. A little bit like this one here. Let me just show you this one here. Now this, if you remember this one, if you've been a subscriber for a while, this is Laelia rubenscens, and this one started to rot on me, and I managed to stop the rot, and I got it through the winter months, and I had it in a plastic container that I'll show you, the same one I've got my Rinco Stylis jar, the Rinco Stylis peach I think it is. I'll show you in a minute. And so this one, I decided to mount it, and again yesterday it was fed and watered. It's got that new growth there, and it's got roots just starting to emerge. This one's got roots that are active, so I'm really chuffed on that one. And it was in this kind of a plastic container. And if I just lift this one down, I have to be careful because this one's had the chain shortened. And here we go. There we go. Can you see that nice big growing tip? And so this is Rinco Stylis Gigantica Peach. And if you recall, this had humongous roots, and each one either broke or, well, one broke I think or cracked during transit, and since then the remainder from that one there broke. So I've not been too worried. It's got this root here, it's got this root here, and it's got this nice root there. So what I've done is I put it in this basket that here, and I did have it full of sphagnum moss. So yesterday, this one, see, it was originally potted with a little bit of coconut husk. This one and my Vanda curvifolia, I've taken the sphagnum moss out because I'm at home now, and I don't want them to be completely saturated. So I've just shortened this wire, and which enables me now just to bob it up there. So if I take you up on this step, and this one here, let's just move that one out of the way. This one here is, and it always looks ill, this one does, but I can assure you it isn't. Don't know if it, well, this has been fed and watered yesterday. Maybe it wants watering every day. But that's Gatton Sunray. That's an awarded one. And if we look up there, that's the Holcoglossum. And this one with the root, you can see there, that's the Subdiflorum. Now this got treated. It's got a dab of M.E.s systemic, and the reason being I saw some little white telltale signs. They look, I thought, oh goodness, I've got scale. But they just, I didn't think they were scale at first. I just thought sometimes when you're messing about with sphagnum moss, it like leaves little grains, and I thought they were them. But then I just thought, well, I'm going to err on the side of caution. And so I gave it some treatment. And that's the other little Holcoglossom. I've attached it there. Now you see that big one there now. That's what I was doing yesterday. I sawed down this humongous piece of hard, and I mean hard, wood. And I've got the other half downstairs and I want to split that down the middle again. So I've mounted the Orchids falcata. Those who have followed me recently will know that this bloomed for me, and it actually bloomed from that area, and it's got that new root there. But on the other side, you won't see this because it's wrapped in sphagnum moss, but on the other side I've got quite a good root system. So that's there now on that wire. This one here, I'll just step down so I'm not overstretching. And this one is Holcostylis, M.E.s sunlight. There we go. And we've got a root there, and it was a lovely green tip. And it stopped, and I think it stopped because it's hit that gnarled piece of wood. So, but it's still got this one growing, and I'm hoping that it will continue if it can just manoeuvre itself past this piece of gnarled bit of wood. But otherwise, I think this is doing fine. And that stands up there now. Hangs up there, not stands. Right, now this big one here, that's the dendrobium, and that's the Lituli, Lituliifolium. I'm not too sure how to pronounce that. But that, I've just got it. I quite like this one. There, let me bring it down. It's on this piece of wood. Well, it's a branch. And I found this in the garden. And it's got a good root system, this one has. Plenty of nice roots. It's got this hook there, and I've got a metal hook there. And this was fed and watered yesterday. What I do when I water them, these that hang like this, I water them that way. Because what I find is that if I allow it to drip down on the canes, it can cause a little bit of rotting on these canes. So that's how I actually water them now. Water them that way, let the water drip off, and then they will then just hang back. And I think that's going to be there, see? And that just hangs there. I'm going to see if I can get, you see how these hooks there? I'm going to see whether or not we can get 2 more, or maybe 3, because it's quite a nice little hanging space, this. This one used to hang in the windowsill here, and this is the Hieroglyphica phalaenopsis. This is a species one from the Philippines, and this came out of a little basket, and a huge root system, as you can see. It goes all the way around here, and I've got some lovely active growing root tips, and I just thought, well, I'll just bring it in here and just hang it up here just for a little while, and that one just hangs there now. And this one here, I like this one, but I like the mount. And can you see? That's the one. So it's Dendrobium, Li Chang, Yi Miriam. And it's got the new roots growing there. And this is one that I decided I'd have to just be a little bit careful with it when watering. I don't see that piece there, what I'm showing you now. Either side, it's got the sheath on, hasn't it? And then you've just got that. Now I thought to myself, oh dear, let's just put it down. And I thought, is that going soft? But it isn't. Because I was a little bit worried, because sometimes it's a sign that it's rotting. So let's put it down, because I just wanted to lift it and bring it in at another angle. And those are the other two pieces. I don't know whether you can see there. Not the first little piece, that's a piece of sphagnum moss. But I think on the other bit there, just past that eye, there's actually a little tiny root just developing. So I am absolutely over the moon with this, because this is one that came in the coconut husk, and you know what I'm like with the coconut husk, I have to get it out. So, and that means that the poor orchid has to suffer. So this one has aborted these two leaves, but it's an old cane. That's the newest cane. And this one is still in active growth, a little bit dehydrated still, and that's decided to sacrifice that leaf as well. But let me show you if I can take you. I think that, there we go. Come on, focus. Is it going to focus for me? It always focuses when you go back out. Anyway, so that's how I've got rid of the big baskets and the big Cattleya Pastoral Innocence. And up there you'll see it this way because of the actual light. Because I'm right up against the window here. And I've brought this back here on the windowsill here. And I bring this one down now. It's a little bit cramped in here, to say the least. This is the Dendrobium polyanthum, Cinnamon primulinum. And this has been not, recently mounted on this piece of wood. And it's got a flattened back there. Quite like it when I can position then this against the wall. And if you notice down in there, will it show you? Got a new growth. So within a few weeks, that's sending out new roots and I've got a new growth. So that will go up here. And, whoops, Ooh. Which way does it go? There we go. I have particular places that... Sorry about that, completely dark then, wasn't it? I have particular places where I put the orchids, and I very rarely differ. I like them to be settled. This one here is the lighting's terrible, isn't it? I do apologise about this. See if I can do that angle. There. And you see the new growth here. And this is the Laelia purpurata, and that's got the big sheath growing there. So, oh, that's the little miniata, that's still got flowers on. And this is the Sergio Aria Yukosuka story. And just notice, got a new growth there, as well as that new growth there. And gently bring that forward, bearing in mind I've got a lot of orchids now, and excuse the noise. And this is the other one that I mounted on this one here. This is the one that had those roots which had been nibbled, and it's got that new growth there, and it's got this new growth there, and that just sits forward here. There we go. That's where the new... There, oops. To be careful where I knock my feet. Now which way is the best line to do this? That's the new Vanda. Is it any easier? Probably not with the light on. There we go. And here, that's that lovely Phalaenopsis, still in bloom. Absolutely gorgeous. And if we go in here, I've got phenomenal root growth at the moment, and like Rick of Rick L's channel, I'm feeding most days, and I think that has caused the explosion of new growths and new roots. This one here, that's that Phalaenopsis extending its inflorescence. And if I show you on this one, now this is quite exciting news. Now this is my Miltassia royal rope, and it's in this open basket now. And I did one half, which is that half in lava rock, and I did this other half here in bark, and you'll see the nice green roots. And this was fed and watered yesterday, but look at that there. I think that's a flower inflorescence, and if it is, that's the first one. So things are moving rapidly, and that's the, just knocking the top of the, that's the little Phalaenopsis Caribbean sunset there. That was fed and watered yesterday. That's got a lovely fragrance, very, very nice. And that one's still in flower here. So this one here is Little Zorro. There we go. And Little Zorro, of course, went through the mill. But look at that. Can you see? Those new roots. What I do with a lot of my mountain orchids now is I'm very careful how I water them. I don't water them with the sprayer full on, because I find that can damage the tender leaves, like the new leaves, like this one here. They can, with the two little species falls, it split that. All I did was drop it into a tub of fertilised water and it split the little leaves. So I'm very, very careful now. There's that other Phalaenopsis, Limelight, which is doing very nice. And if I go down here and bring this one up, this is the little Masdevallia, and that's long yellow striped. So I don't know what that one's going to turn out like. It's supposed to be an intermediate one, this. It's not supposed to be a cold one. We'll just have to wait and see. And this is the cool grower, and this is Masdevallia Pyxis. He's had lots of these little flowers. Still more to open there. There we go, they extend out. Still a lot more in there, and there as well. And that's just getting ordinary rainwater. The little Bulbophyllum, this is Bulbophyllum lobii. You see what I mean, those little bits there? That's what was on the Holcoglossum, and I thought it had got scale, but I don't think it had. I think it was just little bits of sphagnum moss. So this one's got this one with this new leaf here are sending new roots out. So I've just put an extra little bit of sphagnum moss there. And this is the Staphyglottis, and I've attached the other one to it, so there's two on this mount, and there you'll see, that's the original one, sending out nice green growing tips. And likewise, this is the little mount with the little species ones, and that's got another green root there. They've all got little roots now searching out the bark, and that just fits in there. If I can get it to go in there without... There we go. And this is the little Tolumnia. Ooh, let's take it back out. And this was one that got damaged when it dropped into the bath of water. Anyhow, I'm running out of time now, folks, so I'm going to take my leave of you, and I thought I'd just give you a quick overview. Maybe on another video I'll be able to show you the rest. So from me to you.